So themes have been worked on extensively over the different versions of SharePoint. And in the previous version, in SharePoint 2010, it actually used PowerPoint to create themes. Now it's kind of reverted back to the way it was in 2007, where it's basically just using HTML5 files with CSS and images. It's based on HTML and CSS. It's implemented that way, but you don't need to know it. You can do everything in a browser with themes, unless you want to start doing your own custom themes, like custom fonts and colors and that type of thing. Out of the box, there's 14 themes that come with SharePoint 2013. The main way to do it is in the settings of your site, there's a navigation item called Change the Look, and that's where you can choose your themes. So the looks are composed of the colors, the fonts, the master page, background image. So what I'm going to do now is we're just going to go ahead and dive in and select and apply a theme. In this demo, we're going to take a look at how we can change the look and feel of a site by using themes, how themes work, how they're structured. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my settings link, and this is what you need to click on right here, change the look. So when you click on change the look, this is actually showing you all the different themes that you have available. These are the themes that come out of the box. So the current theme, that's the one that's selected right here, is this color scheme. And you can, if I click on that, you can see here's it doesn't have an image. These are the basic colors. You can change that any way you want. The site layout is the master page. So right now only Seattle and Oslo are the two registered master pages. And then these are the different fonts. But you can change these. And so what you can do sometimes is just, let's take a look. I'm not going to save this yet. I'm going to start over. And I'm actually going to go back to, I'm going to go to Site Contents. And if we look at the different lists, I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to Site Settings. And the galleries is what we want. They're lists, but they're special kinds of lists in SharePoint. The same types of lists that hold the web parts and master pages, and they're called galleries. And so we'll look at composed looks first, because that's what we were just doing, was a composed look. So a composed look, that basically consists of the name. So you can give it any name you want. These are the names that come out of the box. So current just means that whatever you have selected. So I think the current we have is, I'm not even sure what it's called. It's probably called Office or something like that. And then there's a relative URL to the master page, a relative URL to the theme. So this is for the color palette. And then a relative URL for the image URL. And this is for a background image. We don't have a background image defined, and we don't have a font scheme URL defined. So we don't have a font palette. So let's go back and take a look what that means. So there's also a themes gallery. So this is where you can actually do custom things. Now themes, in the 15 folder, there's different types of, there's what are called palettes. So there's font scheme palettes, and then there's color palettes. And so you can see here, these are just XML files. So I can actually save this. I can save it to my desktop. We'll save that, and we'll save the font file. Save both of those to desktop. And I will. Okay, so this is the color palette. And we're going to look at this later, but I just want to show you it's just an XML file. These names are called slots. These names hook up to what's in the CSS files. So the SharePoint theming engine knows about these slots, and so it gives these values. So you can change these values, and so in this case, this is the color here. We could change that. We could, the way if you want to create your own custom color palette, the best way to do it, and same thing with the font palette, is just download one of the existing ones and then make the necessary changes that you want to make. That's the easiest way. Here's a font scheme. Same thing here. XML file. You can see it's got the this one is called Bodani Book. That's the typeface name. Has all the definitions. There's definitions for the fonts that you should use for title. These are the different slots again. Title, navigation, what fonts are used in navigation, what fonts are used in small headings, regular heading, large heading, and then what font is used in the body. So this theme actually controls quite a bit of large body, so you can do quite a bit with these themes. So now I'm going to go back to the site, and let's just go back and notice how there's this folder that got generated here called themed, and that's because we were going to choose a new theme for the site. And so when what happens is SharePoint creates all these files that basically allow it to, it combines everything that's in the palettes into these files and uses that to render the pages through CSS and HTML. So I'm going to go back. Let's go back to change the look, and let's just go ahead and we'll say we want orange. Let's try it out. So what's happening right now is SharePoint is creating all the necessary files it needs to be able to render the site. So this is how it looks like, and I'm not going to keep it, but this is how the site, this is basically just a preview image of our site and the new theme. So actually let's go ahead and let's say we're going to keep it. Let's see what it really looks like. So this is what it really looks like now. So actually you can notice how the logo got colored. All of these navigation items have different fonts. This header, the large header, body text, visited links are different colors now. So it's just using CSS to do all that, but you can see it's pretty powerful. We don't need to do the CSS, we just go through the browser. And one thing that's kind of powerful, we'll look at later, is you can actually, if you create these themes yourself, you give your users some choices where they can do all this stuff through the browser, but you can provision different looks for them, or if you're a power users, maybe they can create their own combination of what are called composed looks. So this is a theme and a composed look are kind of the same thing. So let's change the look. Really, what these are, when you pick on one of these, let's go back to here's the main one that we had. I think this is called Orbit. This is a composed look, so background image, colors, site layout, and like we looked at before, if we go back to the composed looks gallery, users can actually, they can add a new item here if they want, and they can put in the URLs to the themes, whatever, if they wanted, if they're power users, they could do that, or you could provision new looks. You can, if you wanted to, you could actually let's go back to the site, not site, I want site settings. We'll go back to the themes gallery. You could, if you wanted to, provision new font schemes, because there's only 7 that come out of the box. palettes, I think color palettes, it looks like there's a lot more, but there's only 7 font schemes. So if you had a different font scheme that you wanted, you could put that font scheme up here and then let other users use that when they change the composed look of the site. So there's quite a bit of flexibility here, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back and change the look again back to what we had. So I'll change it back to orbit. Click try it out. Yep, I want to keep it. And notice how everything is back exactly the way it was before. So that's kind of how themes work, and now we'll dig down a little bit deeper into more customization of these themes and how you can do some more advanced, interesting things with these themes. So we just finished talking about color palettes, and just to kind of reiterate, they're a combination of colors that are used in a SharePoint site, and they're defined in a color palette file, the SP color file that we just looked at, and again they're stored in the theme gallery along with the font palettes. There's the basic syntax of the color palette element, and it shows the different preview slots that are available. So here's an example where we have color slot, name equals color slot, value equals color. We'll take a look at that again a little bit more closely when we font schemes. Again, they're also defined in the font scheme, the SP font file, and they define the fonts in the 4 areas. The file is divided into these sections: the title, navigation, heading, and body. And they're stored in the theme gallery. There's only 7 font schemes that are included in SharePoint 2013. So if you want to create a new font, probably what a lot of people will be end up doing is creating different fonts for like Verdana or something like that. That's not included out of the box. People will be creating that stuff and deploying it on their own sites. So you can do custom themes, and really when we're talking about custom themes, there's like a few different parts to that. So you have the theme gallery. So the theme gallery contains the font scheme palette files and the color palette files. So you could create a custom theme by just adding new palette files to the theme gallery. And then there's also the composed looks. So we looked at that. The composed looks it's the combination of the master page URL, the color palette theme URL, the font palette URL, and the background image URL. So what we're going to do now in this demo is we're just going to go ahead and create and deploy a custom theme. So we'll put a new color palette into the theme gallery, and then once that's there, we'll create a new composed look that uses the new color palette that we added to the theme gallery, and then we'll go in through the browser and then show that new composed look shows up, and then we'll set our site to that and show how we can allow users to do the same thing. We'll give the users the power to change their site without us actually changing it. We'll just give them the tools to do it. I'm going to jump into Visual Studio now. So what we're going to do in this demo, what I'm going to do is build a custom color theme, SP color file, a color palette, and I'm going to provision that to the themes gallery. And then once that's provisioned to the themes gallery, then we're going to actually create a composed look using the value of that new theme that we just uploaded, the new color palette. And then I'm also going to add a background image to the site, and we'll use that in the composed look as well. And then we'll take a look at applying the composed look to the site. So back to Visual Studio, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a module. So theme, and I have a file ready to go, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that, and we'll take a look at that in just a second as well. Okay, so here's my custom palette file. So what I did was I went into the site and I went to the theme gallery, and I just picked the first one for the first color palette, 001. So I copied that, and that's what this is. But then I just changed the value of body text to be this color value, just so it's slightly different. And so now we're going to go ahead and provision this file into Themes Gallery. So that's the special list ID for that is 116, and then the URL is _ catalogs theme 15. All the galleries in SharePoint usually always start with _ catalogs, like the master page gallery. Almost all of them are like that. So let's go ahead and save that. And now I'm going to modify that, make sure that it's set to be ghostable. All right. Okay, we'll set the type to be ghostable in the library. Okay, so that should provision the file. So what I'm going to do now is let's just do a quick test. I like doing things iteratively. I don't want to do a bunch of work and then find out it doesn't work at the end. So one step at a time. So we're just going to provision this file. I'm going to deploy the solution, activate the feature, and deploy it. And just to make sure that this is going to provision the file into the themes gallery, because that's kind of the main part of this theme that we're doing here. So it's going to take a while here. While that's going, go into the feature event receiver. I'm going to go ahead and start writing code to get the composed look list. So get list, and the URL is going to be _ catalogs logs so that's the composed look list. That's the URL for the composed look list. And let's go back to the site. It should be done. Okay, it is. So go back to the site settings, themes, and there's our custom palette. So that's good. Okay, we'll just leave it there. That'll get removed and overwritten when we deploy the solution again. Let's go back to composed looks. So you can see here the URL of composed looks. It is in fact _ catalogs _ catalogs / design. So just verifying that. So we've uploaded our file. The other thing we need to do, forgot to do this, I need to show you the background image. So in Site Assets, I went ahead and uploaded a file called demo background. It's a JPEG file. So this will be the background that we're going to use with our composed look. So actually, let's go ahead and Save that. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is, well, first of all, we're going to add a new item. We'll just call the title My Custom Link, so it'll be really easy to find. Now we need to do the master page URL. What we can do for that is we can cheat. So I will go back and I'll just look at one of the other ones. We're going to use we're basically copying Office. So what I'm going to do here is view this item. So here's the master page URL. We'll just copy and paste that. SP field URL value object to set that because it's a URL field in the list. Oops. Okay, so then we'll say master URL dot URL equals, let's leave it like that for now, and then description will do the same thing. I'll fill that in later. I just want to get the pieces going here now. So theme URL okay, and that's going to be the URL of the thing that we're going to be uploading. So set that. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and set that. So theme URL dot URL equals /_ catalogs theme 15 and then custom palette PALETTE SP color. Okay, let's copy and paste that. There we go. Theme description. Just make it the same. It's going to be master page. Let's go back. Seattle.master, okay. Okay. You spelled it, so let's make sure it's spelled correctly. Okay, got master page, got theme, got title. Now I want to do the image. So oops. Okay, so let's copy this. Alright, looks good. Okay, now we need to actually update the fields. So in this case, it's going to be item, and the name of the field for master page URL is master page URL. Okay, now we got to do theme URL. Pretty straightforward. It's theme URL also. Okay, and then this one is called image URL for the background image. And we don't need to worry about the font scheme URL or the display order because we're not doing that. So we're just going to skip those, and I'm just going to call item.update. Go over this, make sure it looks correct. Okay, so now let's make sure this compiles. Okay, and let's make sure, let's deploy it. Let's see if I did this without any errors. It's probably going to have an error. Okay, let's go to the site. So while that's starting up, we can just want to put some comments in here in case we wanted to later on change the other fields. So those are the other field names in the composed look list. Let's see if that's done. Okay, it is. Alright, so let's go site settings. First we'll go to the themes, make sure our custom palette is there. It's there, so that's good. About a minute ago, that's good. That means it just got deployed. We retracted the solution, it deleted it, we deployed the solution, it added it again, so that's good. Now we need to go to compose looks, and let's see if our compose look was added. I don't see it. Don't see it there. There wasn't an error. Oh, here it is. We didn't give it, the tile is not there. Okay, so So it did get provisioned, but it doesn't have a name. So let's do this. Let's go to, we're going to view that item. Okay, so we set the title, but we didn't set the name. So let's go ahead and set the name of it as well. So it got provisioned. That's fine. Let's go ahead and just do this. Make it easy. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and delete that item because we don't have any code yet that will delete it out automatically. So it's going to get, we would get an error if we tried to do that again. So go ahead and deploy that again. Okay, that was successful. That's good. Wait for that to come back up. Go check on the site again. Okay, so it's almost there. So it's going to be adding that item to the composed look. Now once it's added to the composed look list, then we should, the next test then is to change the look and see if it shows up. So let's go back and go site settings, check themes again, just to make sure our new theme is there. It should be. Okay, new theme is there, so that's good. Next step, go to compose looks, and here's my custom look. So that's good. That looks correct. Everything looks correct. Let's make sure that image works. If I click on it, yep, that works. Okay. So now I'm going to click change the look, and we'll see if this shows up as one of the settings. I don't see it yet. Maybe I skipped over it. It's current. Here it is right here, my custom look. So click on this, and you can see here's our background image, and we're just using the same colors as the Office scheme that we used before with the Seattle master page. So everything is the same except for accent 5 is now red. We changed that to be red. So let's just go ahead and try it out, see what it looks like. And we'll say keep it. And you can see there's our background image there. Click on the home. So I can't really tell what font we changed, but you can tell we clearly deployed our custom look. We deployed the theme. We couldn't have the custom look unless we had the theme. So it's definitely using our color palette, and it's using our background image. Theme. And so now the beauty of this is that we give users the power. So we've given users the tools to do this on their own. We've just provisioned more tools for them basically. So we didn't do everything for them. So it's kind of nice that it lets the users have some control. That is basically creating a custom theme and deploying it to a SharePoint 2013 site.